And I would say that the August would be a time to look to just at least catch a bounce. And then I think that the midterm seasonality, and if you're not aware of that, please look it up, midterm S&P or in NASDAQ seasonality, to understand that this is kind of the weakest times of the market historically on midterm elections. This can be a very big problem coming into the end of July. And then I think August is a fairly decent bounce month, but then September and October tend to be rough. And that is just the seasonality over the history of the stock market in midterm election years. So it plays somewhat uniform, but you can't just hold your hat on just that. You got to watch these charts, understand these levels. Tesla's another one that's just been beat up pretty bad since earnings. I think the first day was down 60, then 15, then 8. Now we're down $2. Everything is sitting down here in the bottom of these and having issues trying to gain their footing. And I don't expect that to change too much into the end of the week. We might get through FOMC and get through earnings, these two big earnings that we have. And then eventually, maybe towards Friday, it could catch its breath and really bears take profit, get a little structure in the market. I don't know what's going to happen in Iran. It's kind of an every other day over there. So the levels are what matter, because as you can tell, all this news and ideas that I've rattled through, what has mattered the most? Well, that 29,336 mattered a ton because there was 4 bounces and then there until it didn't right here. Then it was like I said, once we break a level to the downside, they are resistance until proven otherwise. Once we broke this level, it has been nothing but resistance. That was a perfect test last night. I sit and watched it do it after the open. So keep that in mind. Mark these monthly levels on your chart. If you trade a different ticker, if you don't do NQ, I put out NQES, gold, silver, and oil at the beginning of every month. If you trade something different, let me know. Maybe you only trade the SPY, maybe you only trade the QQQ. I have no problem publishing that. I just don't want to publish a ton of different ideas unless somebody's actually using those. So I have a lot of NQ futures traders. I do have some gold that like to play with that. And then I always like to keep an eye on oil just because, of course, it is a big drag or help for the market depending on certain factors. But as you can see, when we were up here, I did my video and I said, hey, we don't normally close up here. We have the big gap down because we did the statistics that go on the top of your chart. And like I said, if you want this and you have TOS, Think or Swim, and it's got to be the desktop version. So an iPhone or like a phone or a tablet does not work. You have to have either a laptop or a desktop, and you can download Think or Swim, and you can put these levels on your chart. You can populate it. You can look at the history. You can do anything you want. And they are just the best guides that I have ever used, period. And like I said, I've used a bunch of different stuff, and this just simplifies it so much. Hey, these major zones, when they break or hold, you pay attention. Like, if I want to be bullish here after this break, I know I've got to get a reclaim of this level. Until it reclaims and shows me that that is support, there is no reason for me to do anything else. Same thing down here. Once this breaks, until it can reclaim 28,180, there's no reason for me to do much unless we get to this 27,022. Then you can be a buyer of that, using that as your bull bear line, because that is our first target. So if we get there, you buy it and you see if it holds. If not, you just get out. It's that simple. But you don't guess in between, because you will get taken out to the woodshed.